Chase Thomas podcast. My nephew needs me to record. See, I already hate it. I hate it.
Welcome back to another episode of the Chase Thomas podcast from still the aforementioned Chase Thomas, coming to you live from Knoxville, Tennessee, Everything School HQ. Joining me from Omaha Productions and Rocky Top Insider, it's Jack Foster. Jack, good afternoon, sir. How are you?
I'm doing great. It's been a great week. Got some regional ball to preview this weekend, so exciting times in Knoxville. And yeah, I got some game times today, so a little bit of a newsy day. And yeah, looking forward to it.
Yeah, Tennessee kicked off prime time, Jack Foster. No more afternoon or nooners all season.
I like it.
Yeah,
look, I'm not in the press box anymore for football season, but if I were,
yeah,
I would love it. I like it for my friends who are. I feel, I'm glad for them. And as a consumer, we'll get into this a little later, but as a consumer, it's not like a huge deal to me. So
yeah, that's fair. Well, Jack, yeah, like you said, we'll get into the 3:30 games and what the first three games this season look like here in terms of timelines and what that might indicate for future scheduling times for Tennessee in 2025. But before we get into that, Tennessee, as we're taping this on a Thursday afternoon, 6 o'clock tomorrow, weather permitting, because wouldn't you have guessed it, Jack Foster, we have bad weather here the weekend of Tennessee baseball hosting a baseball series. So we'll see what that ultimately looks like in terms of timeline as of this record. It might change by the time this goes up at first thing in the morning, but as of right now, Tennessee is scheduled to go head to head against the Red Hawks of Miami, Ohio at 6 o'clock. But Jack Foster, when you look at this matchup and you look at Tennessee's regional matchup as a whole, what is your biggest reason as to why Tennessee will end up winning this regional? And what do you think is the biggest reason if they do lose it, they will have lost it?
I'll start with the second part. I think if Tennessee loses this regional, which I would be surprised by, it's that I think you have to start Liam Doyle tonight if you're going to lose. Like I don't see a scenario where Phillips starts against Miami of Ohio and Liam Doyle starts game 2 and Tennessee loses. I just think that raises Tennessee's floor tremendously. Does it seem like Tony Vitello is going to do that, though? So let's roll with the Doyle-Phillips hypothetical for now. So I think that if you get a bad Marcus Phillips and say Cincinnati beats Wake Forest, is able to get on Phillips, they steal bases at will. I would expect that to be a challenging matchup. So Cincinnati could steal one from Tennessee there in a game 2 setting if it's Marcus Phillips on the mound. And then from there, pitching depth is at the downfall as far as just bullpen arms struggling, Teagan Kuhn struggling. I'm looking at Coons, Loy, Franklin, these guys beyond the usual suspects that have been good, struggling in a game 3 or potentially game 4 setting, and Tennessee dropping the regional. So long story short, I have a hard time seeing Tennessee lose this regional. But I think the easiest path to it would be Phillips struggling against a Cincinnati in game 2 and Tennessee losing that game, and then pitching depth being its downfall late. As far as winning the regional, offense has just got to show up. Low scoring ball games, never know what can happen, but as long as the offense is what it was, or maybe even 80% of what it was against Arkansas, and certainly in the first 2 games against Hoover, I feel pretty confident. So offense has got to show up, and I think Tennessee will win this regional.
I've seen some people pick Wake Forest to come out of this region. If Tennessee was to not get out of the regional this year, it'd be Wake Forest. I mean, do you agree, or do you think it's Cincinnati is the biggest threat to Tennessee?
Wake is the better team. It's just that Cincinnati's the worst matchup. Like, look, Cincinnati steals bases really well. They run great, and that would be a headache for Phillips. But their offense isn't as good. Like, they still got to get guys on base. Yeah, they still got to get on base, right? So we can talk about that all we want, but Cincinnati's still a worse team than Wake Forest. The thing about Wake Forest that I have a lot of pause on is that they have one really good pitcher, but outside of that, it's not good. Like, they have a couple of solid bullpen arms, but starting pitching's been really bad beyond their first guy. So I guess I'd still roll with Wake just because they seem like the better team, but I'm not super confident in that. I will say, though, Wake Cincy on game 1 of the regional there Friday afternoon, I'm going to take Wake Forest because they got their really good pitcher starting, and like I said, they're a better offense. So I'm going to roll with Wake in that game.
Yeah, it does seem like most people would prefer to get Wake in game 2 than Cincinnati, but I'm
Yeah,
like, I think you're overthinking it a little bit because I think I'd
no,
still rather get Cincinnati.
no, I wouldn't. Not with those numbers. Like the chance that it just spirals is larger for me with.
Well, I think it's
Cincinnati.
better for Tennessee to get out of the regional if Wake loses on Friday, because it's going to be harder for them to make it out of the regional.
That's a fair
like
point.
I kind of want them in a hole. Like if I kind of want Wake Forest being the biggest threat, the team that gets upset on Friday and kind of starts in the loser side of things. I think that is better long term over the weekend than Tennessee getting Wake matchup wise over Cincinnati on Saturday. That's just where I lean. I would take that over the other.
Yeah, you're thinking the long game, right? You don't want to face Wake on a Sunday. So I
Yes.
get that. I get that.
But all things said and done, like I just look at this, I'm like, it's just hard for me to see Tennessee not getting out of this regional. And I know
Yep.
that seems silly and foolish, but I mean, it just to me, the way Tennessee doesn't get out of this regional is the hitting still is not great. And the other thing is the bullpen. Like I just don't worry about the rotation. I think Phillips is fine. I think people are overthinking Phillips and overthinking Doyle. Coons, you need more than what you got over his last. Like he's got to go like 3 to 4 innings. Like
Yeah.
he's got to go longer.
Okay.
But AJ Russell pitching his best ball right now. He seems really comfortable. Nate Snead seems like he's getting his mojo back here a little bit. You need Dylan Loy to snap out of what's been plaguing him in the bullpen. But to me, it's like the bullpen. Like if the bullpen implodes twice, like that's the end of the season for Tennessee, and that's very much in the cards. Like I am not at a point where I'm gonna just be like, yeah, the bullpen stuff's fixed. Like
No, I agree, but that is the one part of this team that drastically improved in Hoover.
Yep.
You know, you had
is that
AJ
sustainable
Russell,
though? Was that a blip or is that going to continue?
completely agree with that sentiment and feel you, but you know, AJ Russell first extended relief outing shoves and Brandon Arvidsson out of freaking nowhere 85 pitch outing, amazing. You know, I would say Russell feels pretty sustainable. Arvidsson could be a blip on the radar, but dude, that was so dang dominant. Like he was so good. And it's hard to see him just not being one of the top bullpen arms moving forward. You know, Brian Shumpert, a friend of us, obviously, and my coworker had a bullpen power rankings piece, and he put Arvidsson second. And while that's crazy considering how the regular season went, it's not crazy after what happened in Hoover. It's kind of hard to push back on that. So the bullpen, yes, I agree, could be the downfall. Like I said, on a Sunday could really screw Tennessee, but given what Russell and Arvidsson and Snead showed in Hoover, it's trending upward right now.
No, 100%. And we'll see ultimately what if it doesn't continue that way. But right now, hey, I feel pretty good, and I hope that that continues. And man, Arvidsson's kind of the wild card here. Like, what if Arvidsson's shown enough where it's like
He starts.
Coons goes to the bullpen? Like,
Yeah.
what if Coons and you go Arvidsson? Like Arvidsson, man, he was dealing, and that's huge for Tennessee. If he becomes a guy who can give you long relief and is turn the corner to what we thought he could be before the year, that's huge. Like there's just no way around it. Like that is huge for Tennessee if Arvidsson has figured some stuff out.
It's massive. Yeah. I mean, that outing is one of the bigger storylines of this whole season. It's what he was able to do against Texas. He's the MVP of that game.
Yep.
So yeah, if he can do that, unbelievable. And also he's a starting prototype. Like he is a starting pitcher.
Yeah.
So type of guy. So I don't think Tennessee would make a change with Coons this late, you know, and I feel like that'd kind of rattle Coons potentially. He hasn't shown a great ability to really overcome adversity in outings, so I don't know how he would handle that. I just would be surprised if Tony does that, but as far as trust meter goes, I'm trusting Arvidsson more than Coons right now.
Yeah, I don't know. Coons is just like, because he was really unlucky 2 weeks ago, and it was stuff that was out of his hands. It was his defense, and I think that I don't know. I'm not selling any Coons stock, but I am cautiously optimistic buying some Arvidsson stock, and that would be the best case scenario for Tennessee. Because then you have 6 guys if you count Snead in that mix that you can count on pitching wise.
You got the 3 starters, Arvidsson, Russell, and Snead.
Yeah.
So you're not including Lloyd Franklin.
Lloyd, no, definitely not. And Franklin, I don't know. Where are you at?
Good against Vanderbilt.
Yeah.
He's
Not
just
really a high leverage spot, though.
he just gets hit a lot.
That's what I'm saying. Like, I'm thinking high leverage, like
Yeah.
season on the line type of deal. Like, do I feel good based on what I've seen to this point with Tanner Franklin? Like, he's
Right.
scary in a high leverage spot right now. Loy's very scary in a high leverage spot. Yeah, there's just, I don't know.
You're not
Like,
gonna do Krenzel. Yeah.
Krenzel, definitely not. Like, and I still like Krenzel a lot, but there's a lot of shaky after the long relief guys. But that's kind of what you want. Is you want Arvidsson to be able to go in 5 innings potentially for Coons or something like that.
Right.
If he can do that, if AJ can give you 4 to 5 innings after Marcus, and
Yep.
Doyle to give you 6 or 7 innings, so you only have a couple. You know what I mean? Like, that's kind of what the recipe for Tennessee is to maximize as much. The starters go as long as they possibly can, and then their guys to the ones they trust in that 6 or 7 man group to be able to have extended looks as well. Because then Tennessee's really going to be really hard to beat if those guys are all rolling.
Yeah, I think right now you look at it as, hey, can Doyle go long and then piece it together with a Loy or Franklin after, and then you have the Phillips Russell combo, which Tony has used a lot, and then I agree with you as far as the Arvidsson after Coons, because yes, he showed it in Hoover, but as I just said, Arvidsson is a starting pitcher. He's similar to Russell in that he's an extended relief guy.
Yeah.
It's like a second start in a game. And Coons is also the guy you would project to go the least amount of time in a start, more than.
And Steve's the guy you hope can go 2 to 3 times this week.
Yes,
like
he ends your games. Yeah, he's your closer. Yeah.
So let's see. I mean, I'm excited about it, but I mean, do you think there are any guys that we don't see this weekend in the bullpen? Do you think there's someone they don't go away? They've experimented with. Is there someone who might get? It's like a DMP CD and in basketball, like there's some did not play for coach's decision. Do you think they just don't try? Like maybe a Breedlove, maybe Sharman. I don't know.
Yeah. I mean, those types of guys they won't use if they are. It's weird. Like, I think one of those guys could throw on Friday night because Tennessee has such a big lead, right?
Do we see Binky this weekend?
I don't know. I mean, I think if you see Binky, it's a blowout either way. So none of those guys are going to pitch in important moments. It's either going to be Tennessee is trashing Miami of Ohio. It's late. Don't use one of your important arms. Throw Binky, Sharman, Breedlove, whoever. But if those guys are throwing Tennessee in its important, Tennessee's out of arms or just trying to find something that works and things are going really badly. So I don't know if those guys are going to be, getting really important outs in close games at all. I don't see that happening. I don't really see it happening with Krenzel either, honestly. He has been struggling with his command so much. He just got hit around a lot against Alabama too. I think that's probably in their minds going into this regional. So I would honestly put Krenzel more in the Breedlove Sharman tier than the other tier with these guys we've been talking about.
Yeah. Final baseball one for you. You can make one permanent lineup change for the rest of the postseason for Tennessee baseball. What is the one lineup change you make? Tony can't override you.
I saw this and I wish I'd come up with something better because it feels like this lineup is kind of set with how it is. They've been using the same guys. I just still wouldn't play Dean Curley at second base. I don't want the season to end that way.
Yeah.
And it could. That could kill your season. Too many mistakes from him could kill your season. And then this has happened so many times. That's what sinks you. Like, God, that's going to be such a tough pill to swallow. So maybe I'm just more rude than Tony. He's going to ride with his guy, but I would just DH Curley and play, like you could do Manny at second or Keelan at second, Manny at short, Bargo at third, and Clark in left.
Yeah. And then you could also, if Clark doesn't have it, you go Jay in left.
Yeah, sure.
Completely different looks. But also, that's something else I would do. No more late game substitutions. Like where Ariel's still going in the 8th and 9th inning. Like, we don't need to do that anymore. Like, that's got to end. I hope that's done. Like, no more late game substitutions for just defensive things, and we're just going to move around some stuff just to move. And I'm like, no. Well, we're not doing this.
I'm fine with that if Dean Curley's not in the field. But I do not want Dean Curley playing second base in the 9th inning.
But you still kind of need his bat. Like, he's still one of your 6 best hitters.
I mean, but
like that was the issue. You put Ariel in it for Curley, and
Yeah.
he was hitting fifth, and he batted the next inning, and I think he either grounded out or struck out. Which game was it in Hoover?
Texas.
Texas, yeah. And you're like, this game's not over, and you're making the move to Ariel here. Like, you can't.
Well, Ariel's just so drastically better. So
Ariel is a great fielder. Ariel is not anywhere close for high leverage batting situations. Like,
no one's saying he is.
but he had to bat in that spot, is what I'm saying. He ended up batting that inning.
Look, you take the good with the bad a little bit. He's so good defensively.
I can't.
He can save games. He can literally win you games with his defense. He's done it before.
Yeah.
I know you're not an Ariel advocate. Okay.
I didn't say I'm not an Ariel advocate. I'm more looking at the bat. Like, the bat's not close. Like, it's
yeah.
The bat is not close. And I would like for the bat to be close, because Ariel defensively, I understand the upside, but it's just this offense is not good enough. Where last year you could live with what Cal Stark was giving you last year by and large, because you were just in the rotation at DH. Like, yeah, it drove us nuts on this podcast every week, Jack, but like, we were still like, it's not a huge problem in the grand scheme of things when the top 6 of your lineup is raking at the extent that they are. This offense just looks a little bit better here down the stretch, but I still just don't think you have the juice to be able to insert Ariel in the middle of the lineup from the 7th inning on in close games.
Well, he doesn't. Okay, so let's see. Let's go back.
But I'm saying, if you put an Ariel in, he's going in the 5-hole.
All right, look. It was 5-4, middle of the 10th, going into B10 against Texas. That's when Ariel comes in. You have a 1-run lead, and you need 3 outs. And it was a bad decision to bring Arvidsson back out, and Texas scores a run. I have no issues with that decision. If you have a lead and you only need 3 outs, do it. Now, if you're in the 7th inning, it doesn't really make sense. But there, more times than not, Tennessee's going to be able to get 3 outs there, and Ariel never hits. So if you're in the 9th inning, or it's what, like, you only need 3 outs and you're up 1-2 runs, I do it every time, because that's he, like I said, he can save you games, he can win you games, he can close things out with his defense. But if it's tied, it makes no sense. But I don't think Tennessee's doing that.
Yeah. Buy or sell, Jack Foster. 3:30 kickoff games in Neyland Stadium are better than night games in Neyland Stadium, because I'm seeing a lot of people who are mad that Georgia Tennessee is not under the lights in Neyland, the third Saturday of the season. As someone who's attended a lot of 3:30 games in Neyland and night games in Neyland, I think 3:30, and I also, maybe part of it is I grew up on SEC on CBS, and the 3:30 slot being the best slot anyway. I kind of prefer it. Like, I don't know if I'm in the minority among Vol fans, but I like the 3:30 more. It feels like a bigger game. And it was just interesting to see the response of Tennessee fans who were mad that this is not a night game. And I'm like, I don't know. I think this is actually kind of, I like this being an afternoon game. Like, I like this being primed. I understand it's not prime time anymore with ABC and ESPN, whatever. But to me, prime time will always be 3:30. And I'll prefer a 3:30 spot. It will feel like a bigger deal. And I kind of think Neil and everything else, because it will start to get darker a little towards the end, but it also, I don't know. I think I like it. I think it's a positive. But what say you? Is the night game still the king? And would you rather this be a night game?
When it's at its most important part of the game, fourth quarter, it's night. So I don't honestly think it matters all that much. I am always been one to lean towards the night game as having a more prestige. So I think I'd side with that just ever so slightly. But I completely get what you're saying. And also, those SEC on CBS games were so long. So you really got laid into the night too, in the fourth quarter. But I think I'd go 7 slightly, but I'm not, if the game is huge, right? If it's like a massive game, I'd rather it kick off at 7. Just feels like it has a little more prestige to me. But 3:30 still has a ton of significance. Like I said, it's night at fourth quarter anyway. So that's all the vibes you need. So honestly, it's not a huge deal to me, but I guess I give the slight edge to 7.
Yeah, and I think, the games with TV commercials, and if it's close, like, that game it's going to get dark towards the end of 10. Yeah.
It'll be 7:30, by the time that thing's over. So,
and if it's a close game, overtime, stoppages, we got 2-minute warnings now. Like,
I know. When did Tennessee Alabama end at 22? Like,
oof. Well, I was thinking Florida because I think Florida. It was definitely dark Tennessee, Florida, last year. But that was that a night game or 3:30? I thought that was 3:30 last year. Because I know it was a night game both times when we were in Gainesville in the Heupel era. But
right.
I'm trying to remember if that was a 3:30 because when I went, I know it was 3:30 in 22 because my wife and I were there for Checker Neyland, and that was an afternoon game.
Florida was 7.
Okay. So it was only 3:30 and 22. I will tell you, it was pretty loud and pretty jumping for Tennessee, Florida at 3:30. And
yeah. I was gonna say, remember Tennessee played like 7 straight 7 o'clock games last year.
Yeah, it's too much. It's like the opposite of Ohio
night.
State, where Ohio State's like begging to get off the big noon kickoff, and Tennessee fans are like, "Can we not have a game end at midnight?" For once this year.
Exactly.
Yeah, I'm okay with it. Like if I have a choice, like I like the 3:30 for ETSU is. I haven't seen the 3:30 slate yet for that week, but I don't know what we're doing there. That should be a 9 a.m. kick. Let's get that one up and over. But we can't do a 9 a.m. kick for that game.
Yeah, a little absurd for that. If you include Ohio State, 9 of Tennessee's 13 games last year started either at 7 p.m. or later.
Whew, too many. We get a break.
UTEP, Vandy, and Chat were in the noon or 1, and then Bama was 3:30.
I don't love noon sometimes though. Like I will tell you, like because usually I'm coming back during from home in Atlanta for the holidays for Vanderbilt. So there was a bad wreck. I remember getting back to Atlanta and Vanderbilt started. Like I thought I was going to get in there right at noon.
Yeah.
The wreck put us back like an hour and a half. Like it was a bad wreck. And so I'm having to I'm not moving really. So I have on the radio listening to the game, but also like having it on my phone, sitting there and no movement traffic. And I'm like, this sucks. Like I'm having to, and then Tennessee obviously gets off to a terrible start. And I'm just like, oh God, this is a nightmare. This is a nightmare situation. So it doesn't give you as much time for that 12 o'clock game. I would be okay moving Vanderbilt always to the 3:30 spot because and I think it was at home because my wife and I were at 22 as well, and that was cold, but that was a 3:30 game. That wasn't a nooner.
Nope, it was definitely 3:30. Yeah.
Jack Foster, final one for you. Way too early, but this is a baseball one for you. Will UT need more pitching or hitting via the transfer portal this cycle? And part 2 is, what are some lessons that you would think that you would hope that Frank and Vitello take away from how they attack the portal this cycle?
Yeah, it's a good question. I think they're gonna want to target more pitchers just because I still have a lot of faith in these young players on Tennessee's offense. As far as the Chris Newstroms of the world, Abernathy, of course, Levi Clark, maybe your best hitter next year, Manny Marin.
Where do you think they fit? Like, what do you think is the role for them lineup wise? Like in the field, where are they best? Where's your best bet on where they are?
We'll say, yeah. I mean, Manny is either short or third, right? He's going to stay the same.
Maybe second.
I think Jay plays second.
Okay.
Jay Abernathy's a natural second baseman, so I think you have probably Jay and Manny in the middle of the infield. Grimmer could be an option to start at third. Clark is a first baseman, but Tennessee may get a masher in the portal, and he could play first base. Clark, a versatile guy. Don't think he catches because that's going to be Stone. But I feel like Clark, right, if Cannon's back, yes, of course. I think Clark is either first or outfield, and maybe Stone is first if Cannon's back, right? So,
Stone's got to hit more though. Stone's not locked in, man. The bat's not there for Stone too. We were talking about Ariel, but Stone, the bat's got to make a big jump.
Fair point, but I think Newstrom's an outfielder. Clark, like I said, is versatile, but he could be a first baseman. And then I see Jay and Manning in the middle of the infield.
So it seems like the portal, they're going to have to go outfield for portal help.
Yep.
In the lineup.
I think you need 2 outfield starters.
Interesting. I guess it also depends on what Bargo does. Like, is Bargo going to go too high? You think Bargo's gone for sure?
Yeah.
Interesting.
He was like top 100 prospect in someone's list or something.
But it depends also where he go. Like he might go that. I don't know when Bargo's going to go.
He's gone.
Yeah. That's something we did not see coming before the year. Bargo was I didn't have that in my card. So like Bargo, I thought was going to have a good year, but I didn't think he would be gone.
Now someone you've talked about, Chapman, could be back. I don't know what that looks like.
But that also changes. Yeah, Chapman. I think Peebles. of all the guys who might on the border coming back, I think Peebles is the best bet to come back. I could be
Yeah.
wrong there, but I would bet if I had to pick one, it's Peebles.
Yeah, and Chapman was a really great prospect. He's got a lot of tools. I bet he's gone too. He's, great arm, really good outfielder, just needs to be more consistent with his bat. But I would imagine he's gone. Bargo, I feel pretty confident. So yeah, Cannon could be back though. He could be that lifer kind of deal.
Yeah. And I don't know what Grimmer's best position is. Like I have no idea what Grimmer is.
I think third is his best position.
Okay. And that'd be huge too if Grimmer breaks out. I'm a Grim dog.
Grim guy.
Grim dog. Yeah, I'm a Grim guy. Newstrom's gonna be a star. Like Newstrom, I've already locked in. Like Newstrom's a star. Like that
right
one
field.
is. Yeah.
But back to your question. So I think they'll need more arms just because Doyle's gone, Phillips, Snead. Like you're losing all these guys. Franklin,
AJ,
of course. Like everybody that you're relying on. Loy will be back. We'll see. What kind of step he would take. Coons and Krenzel are your young guys.
Seibert's back. He missed all this year, but he's a big time freshman.
Yeah,
so
he was their top recruit.
He'll be in the mix.
Yep, top recruit. And then all these, and this is kind of ties into the second part of the question. What would you like to see them do differently? Very heavy JUCO class last year.
Yeah.
And I just don't know if you want to do that again because it didn't really work. Combs was a disappointment. Sharman and Breedlove, let's be honest, they were just tie-in midweek guys. Arvidsson's now obviously great, but he underwhelmed during the regular season. So the JUCO arms just underwhelmed as a whole. So I guess I'd like to see more just true transfers than JUCO guys.
More Stamos, Kazi types.
Yeah. Snead,
yeah. Wichita. Yeah, I mean, that's more what Andrew Lindsay was Charlotte. Like, you need more. I mean, they have the kid from UNC Asheville if they are able to keep him from signing. And so that's one step because he's a hurler. And then the kid from, Niagara, he seems like a more of a draft risk than the Asheville kid, right?
Yeah, I haven't done
SUNY Niagara, I think is what it is.
Anyway,
yeah. Is that JUCO? That's not JUCO. It's a silly question. It has university in the name.
No, yeah, it is not JUCO. That's who that the first baseman was from Niagara, right? Radicek or whatever last year.
Oh God, that's a name.
Eric.
Forgot about that guy.
Radicek.
Yeah.
Got drafted. Anyway, so yeah, that's what I would like to see. Maybe less JUCO arms, and I just in general think Tennessee's going to need to target pitchers more than hitters. But it's look. Well, this happens every year with baseball just because there's so much turnover, but it's hard to see who's going to be like the guys for Tennessee next year a little bit. Like I think Clark can, but can
they got to go get the Mississippi State kid?
Can he be even remotely as good as Andrew Fisher was from a power standpoint? I don't know. You really need Newstrom and all these guys to be really solid. Marin, Abernathy, like
Marin needs to be in the uncrust. Like, I don't know who the new dietitian is going to be for Tennessee next year, but it needs to be someone whose big job here is to, hey, Manny Marin and Chris Newstrom, get ready to learn Uncrustables, buddy, because we're like, they got to pack on like 25 to 30 pounds here because like that, they need power there. Like Manny's got to bulk up, and I think Newstrom's got to bulk up, and Quentin and company. Who?
I mean, Jay, you don't want to lose.
Jay, I don't worry about Jay,
but he's still really small.
Yeah, but he's second base. Like if he's getting on base, I don't care. Like if he's getting on base and stealing bases and a good fielder, like I don't really care. Yeah. Marin, I think him and Newstrom have to be like power guys. They have to develop because like that's been part. I mean, the Curley stuff. That's the one thing that just blows my mind is Curley's just not a power guy at all. Like that never developed, and I'm just like I don't understand. Like I don't understand why Curley has no power to his game at all.
Right. Yeah, totally get you.
I would love a piece on that. Get on that. Drop what you're doing, Jack, and see what you can find out on what his line drive rate and why his bat swing is just not his. He's not embracing the velo and the what is it called? Launch angle. Like he's not a launch angle guy.
No, he's not. I don't know why. And he hit 10? I mean, his homer numbers are similar to last year's. But
I mean, last year he didn't. I feel like he only hit like one or two after like that wall he hit in SEC play.
Yeah, I know he hit 3 in one game. It was crazy.
Yeah, and then it was just like
remember that. Yeah,
Curley has not been a home run guy since the first half of SEC play last year.
Very fair. Yeah, he's just not a.
But he has the frame. Like he has the frame and the ability. I just don't understand it. Like Dean Curley not being a home run guy, especially in this park and with this kind of coaching with Elander and Vitale and stuff. Curley not being a home run guy, everyone's so focused on the defense. I'm like, why is Dean Curley not a 20 home run guy this year? Like, if you had told me before the year that Curley would not hit 20 home runs for Tennessee this year, I would have been like, that unless he's injured, I don't see how he doesn't make that jump. What is he at right now?
I was just trying to check, but I believe he's at 11 or 12, maybe 13. He's under insane. 15, definitely under 15.
And I mean, how many of those were in SEC play? Like,
he had 3 homers in SEC play last time I checked, so that was probably a couple weeks ago. So he may have 4, but 3 to 5.
Does he have another one since a couple weeks ago? I don't recall a Curley homer. Late.
Yeah, I mean,
Keelan's gotten his power back a little bit, but I haven't seen. I don't recall any. Nothing jumps out to me on Curley's home runs.
All right, hold on. I got it right here. Home runs. The last one he hit was Arkansas game 1.
Okay.
So he has 1, 2, 3, 4 in SEC play. 4
home runs in SEC play for Dean Curley.
Yep, and he has 12 total.
That is crazy town. Like, Curley having 4 home runs in SEC play was not something I had in my bingo card. Like, I know everyone's so caught up in the defense. But to me, it's like Curley was hitting for power. Like, that's how you overlook the Billy Amick stuff last year. It's like Billy Bats was still raking. Definitely. Like, he's still raking. So it's like he lived it. But I'm just like, I don't understand why Dean doesn't rake. Like, he just it blows my mind.
Yeah, no, I'm with you. I wonder, like, does Chapman have more? He's got to have more SEC homers than Curley does, right?
Feels like it.
1, 2. Yeah, he does.
Yeah.
He has 4. 5.
Yeah. Chapman's, the Curley stuff, we need an oral history on this season for Dean Curley and everything about this year, because it's one of the more bizarre years. The combination of Curley, defense plus power outage plus Marcus Phillips in the base pass, like, it's just one of those all-time just bizarre years in some ways, because like Marcus Phillips is so good and everything else. And and by all accounts, a great success story for Frank Anderson and company. And it's just, he's been your second best starter and really good most of the year, but it's just that weird base pass stuff. And I don't know. It's just been a weird year in a lot of ways for Tennessee.
How about this? 7 of Cannon's 11 homers have been against SEC pitching.
Yeah, I'm telling you, Cannon, I'm Cannon, I think if he comes back for one more year, I think he's going to be really good for Tennessee. I think he's finally figuring some stuff out. If he comes back for one more year, I think he would be really good for Tennessee.
That would be so huge for Tennessee, I think, if that happened.
Because I just don't know if Stone's ready. And you are going to have a lot of turnover in this lineup, and it's going to be pretty young. If you can keep Cannon, I think Cannon would be a great buy stock candidate this offseason. Like, I think Cannon's going to have that final breakout year that people thought he was going to have last year.
Yeah, and I think he's a leader too. He's not the loudest guy in the world, but he's really, like, most catchers are going to be like this, like the quarterback kind of deal, but he's a very intelligent dude. Like, just talking to him, he's an impressive person. So I think he could be a leader and just massive in a lot of ways next year if he comes back.
Jack Foster, what can the good folks check out from you and the team over at Omaha Productions and Rocky Top Insider this week?
Yeah, full Knoxville regional coverage. Starting Friday night, of course, against Miami of Ohio. Kind of crazy. Miami of Ohio came to Knoxville for softball and baseball regionals. Well, interesting. But yeah, full weekend stuff. RockTopInsider.com, at bat by at bat threads every single game. As far as Omaha stuff goes, NBA, NHL talk, some solo dad week stuff on this week's SV pod. A lot of fun. We had Marcus Freeman on Today's Always College Football, so be sure and check that out. Greg did get to ask him about the Notre Dame USC stuff, so he voiced his opinion on that. And then Mina Kimes show talked to X Factors for every AFC team this week, so that was a good listen.
I love it. Jack Foster, always a pleasure, and I'll talk to you again next week.
Nicely done, nephew. The Chase Thomas Podcast. Hell yeah.